questions. We have time for one or two very short questions. If you have, to either of the speakers, our speakers cooperated very well and really kept within the time limit, each and every one of them, which I thank again. So if anyone, bakasha, but very short and concise. Ken. Just stand up so we can hear.
It's a question for Henry Landau. To what extent do you think the Obama administration's policy towards Iran is still being dictated by the CIA's national intelligence estimate of 2000?
To what degree do you think the Obama administration's policy is being dictated by the NIE?
In what sense do you mean?
Well, in the sense that it influenced the last 2 years of the Bush administration. The
argument
that you're making is that Obama's being naive, if I may put it as crudely as that. What I'm suggesting is actually more continuity between the last 2 years of the Bush administration and Obama's first 150 days than you have to give it credit for.
But there's more continuity between the last 2 years of the Bush administration and Obama. In terms of the way that they're assessing Iran's progress, I mean, to what element of the NIE are you referring? Because one important element of the NIE is that Iran actually was working on a secret military nuclear program for close to 20 years, which is a very severe assessment.
But the other part of the estimate was that it would be anything up to 2015 for Iran to actually have a weaponized a nuclear weapon.
No, it was in 2011 to 2000. There was a
go back and forth, and right now I think they're a little shorter than 2015. You just had there have been recent statements by any number of U.S. officials that have introduced, I would say, a sense of greater urgency.
Definitely, 2010, 2011. You wanted to ask?
No, I just said that there have been any number of statements by U.S. officials that have given a sense of greater urgency than, I would say, 2015. Definitely. So, I mean, what I was saying about Obama is, yes, if you're going to take a regional approach on the Middle East, you cannot afford to proceed in a way that, A, you are not projecting strength and power, and B, in a way that Iran can turn the tables on you and gain the upper hand. That's the trick, and also in a way that Iran can't just, pass the time with negotiations, inch towards its program. In that sense, we see a lot of continuity with what was before.
Other questions, Vakasha? Short and to the point.
Okay, to whomever wishes to answer, I still don't understand what the United States can offer Iran for not becoming a nuclear power. What is it? All this talk that America has a lot of goodies to offer Iran. What are these goodies? I don't know.
Oh, you want? Go ahead.
That's the most interesting question for the Obama administration. Why? Because during the talks that we've had with Iran, in fact, contrary to what many believe, the talks were not only about the nuclear issue. There were a number of baskets, one on Middle East security, one on the economic dimension. There were even talks about the interest for Iran to get some kind of assurances. What I can tell you is that at first, at no point there was in front of us, whether it was Rouhani or Larijani or Jalili, any interest in talking about these other issues, at first. And secondly, there was at no point and any interlocutor saying, well, if we would get this or this or this, then we would be prepared to go forward. Well, a last point, which nobody has made so far, but my own conviction is that a deal between an Iranian president or an Iranian team and America would be the kiss of death for Tehran. So I don't believe that for the regime, yes, I don't believe that there is any interest on the Iranian side to get a deal with America, which is perhaps the most important message I would convey. And this element, this particular element, is never taken into account. I mean, people believe that if there would be, you know, it's like during the Cold War with the Soviets. I mean, now you're Russian, you're not Soviet, but with the Soviet, I mean, there were always this discussion. If only we would give them this or this or this in the negotiation, they would be more forthcoming, they would be interested in, I don't know, balance of power. Or what history shows today is that the Soviets have never been interested in the balance of power. They've been interested in superiority all along. Okay, so we tend to project our wishes. Sorry for this long answer, but since I didn't talk very long, I give a longer answer. Right? So, my own view is that we project our wishes on Iran, and we project our hope that Iran will democratize, will abandon its aggressive policy. I mean, for instance, what can legitimize the incredible statements about Israel? What has Israel done to Iran to legitimize what the Iranians are saying? I can understand that they have harsh talk concerning the Russians, concerning the British, even concerning the Americans. But Israel, what have you done? Okay, so there is an element that we have to understand, which is that they are not interested in any deal with the West, and particularly with the Americans.
Professor, one second. Professor Klapka, if you want to comment, and then Emily.
Just a brief comment. I think, first of all, that EU-free offer to Iran, I think from 2004, could be a part of the package. I think it was a good deal. For some reasons, EU-free and Iran was not able to reach an agreement, but especially economic assistance to Iran, the scope of economic cooperation for the new package could be taken from there. And one more point, that in the recent P5+1 proposal, at the initial stage, security assurances were a part of the offer. But because, first of all, of US pressure, it was removed at the end of the story. But I think Iran is interested in that. Another question, under what circumstances we could offer Iran security assurances, especially, of course, under circumstances when the president of the country, for a number of times, stated his view on Israel.
Can I just
Sorry,
add one?
do you seriously believe, anyone in the room, that any Iranian would consider serious security assurances from Washington?
Not only from Washington, but from other countries as well.
Okay. Wait. We can't turn this into a great debate. Maybe some other time. Emily, you have one sentence.
Well, maybe two sentences.
Okay, because 2-3 minutes.
Just in response to your question, I would agree with you and also with what Therese said. There's no goodies that Iran is waiting for. The key is to pressure Iran so that Iran feels that the status quo is less good than any deal that it can get through negotiations. That is the key. The key is not more goodies. All the goodies have been offered. Iran has said no. The problem is Iran is not feeling pressure. Therefore, it's not interested in a deal. Sanctions and other forms of pressure need to be a stage on the way to effective negotiations. That's the key. pressure needs to be there. And then when the situation that Iran is in is not so good, it might be interested in a deal. And just one final point, let's not forget that Iran, there is a duality here. In other words, Iran has its interests, it has its regional hegemonic interests, et cetera. Iran also has an interest in being accepted by the international community. That might sound strange to you and paradoxical, but it is indeed the case. This is another point that can be turned into pressure on Iran. Okay? So there are ways of dealing with it.
Dr. Menashri, last, you will conclude. We have to conclude.
When I think about goodies, I don't know if it's a goodie, but it's a good thing for Iran. If there is one thing, I believe, that it's more important for Iran than the nuclear program, it's the stability and continuity of the Islamic regime. So probably, if you secure the future in power, that's maybe one of the things that you can do, which is more precious to the Iranians, I believe, than the nuclear program.
We haven't solved the problem. If we could have solved the problem, we probably would have solved it already. So evidently, it is too much complex. We've reached hour 7, and I think we're all tired now. We have tomorrow, so thank our speakers very much. And we wish a good evening to everyone, and tomorrow morning we continue. We'll have time for more questions. Thank you very much.